Aye, it's a cracking Dunger day here in Fortrose. I've got an empty for a couple of days as the pioneers have gone to the far east. Yes, they are off visiting family in Peterhead.
With the daily updates you can't make up, it's the Black Isle Correspondent. She lives in Fortrose and tells us what goes on. If your isolation causes desperation, try the Black Isle Correspondent. If you're feeling grumpy, you'll find some company here.
Monday was traditionally the day for our horticultural updates. Well, things like this are starting to happen on bushes all over the garden. That one over there, I trimmed that at the end of the summer last year. I mean, it's not that even, but it's not bad. This one also did. The flat top. Alright lads, it's gone mad over there. It's maybe because I made fun of their house. Right, first things first, before a horticultural update, let's feed the birds. It's been a while since we hung out in the garden in nice weather, hasn't it? Well, it's kind of been a while since we hung out at all, really. And it's kind of nice because music and gigs and stuff are starting to happen again. Right, here's your breakfast, guys. Which is good, because loads of musicians are getting back to being busy. I was in Ullapool all last week for the Junior Feis, which was lovely. And next week I'm going out on tour with Myred Green. We're in a few places in England and then we finish off in Stirling. Then I'm going up to the Adult Feis, so there's not been loads of time to hang out in Fortrose. But one thing that stayed the same, the birds need fed. You might remember the feeder we used to have on the fence. The hinge came a cropper in the winter, so Dad's fixed it with good old gaffer tape. If it moves and it's not supposed to, gaffer tape. If it doesn't move and it is supposed to, WD-40. Breakfast! So we've got some duffing down dillies here by the wheelbarrow. I don't think that was supposed to have become a garden feature, but it's just been parked there for a while. Of course, a lovely selection of freezer bags drying on the line. Reduce, reuse, recycle. On the plum tree, we're getting these. The polytunnel still hasn't had any developments. It's still housing the lid of the log pile, which we've not got around to fixing yet. I guess it's less of a pressing issue as we don't really need the fire on because the weather's gone bonny. Things in the garden. Oh, a massive bumblebee. That was huge. Things in the garden are at that really exciting stage where things are in bud. We're starting to see flowers coming through. There's a feeling of hope and potential. Anyway, you know that we're not a particularly naturally green-fingered family. You've seen our efforts and the results thereof over the last couple of summers. However, the thing that I am the very most entertained and simultaneously impressed by is the fact that despite none of us particularly enjoying it or wanting it, over the course of the winter, this kale plant has thrived. It's continued to grow. There's all sorts of stuff being chucked at it. It was blown over. Like it's had a really hard time, but look at it. It's kind of gone along the way and then up. Fair play to the kale. Tell you what else is eternal and infernal. The flipping scurries. Yesterday morning at 6 o'clock, I was awakened by some banging and rattling. Here was a scurry or two on the roof. I mean, they can fly. Why would they do that? They're just doing that to be annoying. I know it. And there's also one, Mum and Dad tell me, that comes along to this back door every morning around that same time. And he just pecks, bangs his head against the window. It harasses the dogs, that's where they sleep, and it wakes Mum and Dad. So, the scurries continue to be a scourge. However, this morning, when I got back from my hell jog along the railway line, which by the way was definitely not vegan friendly because I ingested a fair few beasties on the way, in the porch I found this, a missive from the Fortrose and Rosemarkie Community Council, a circular about herring gulls in our villages. Last year, Fortrose and Rosemarkie Community Council reached out to residents to ask on what matters they wanted the FRCC to act. Gulls causing anxiety and distress in the villages was one of the top issues. Proposed action. 1. Remove the food. discouraging the feeding of gulls and ensuring litter and rubbish is correctly disposed of so that it cannot be accessed by gulls. Sounds right. 2, bring in the experts. Contracting a specialist company who can provide advice and, where necessary, apply on behalf of each household for the licence required to remove established nests strictly in line with legal permissions. The company are also able to fit deterrents to prevent nests being built. Oh, excellent. So this 2-point plan sounds excellent, but there's still an awful mess left by them all over the patio. So, to celebrate the community council plan and the start of the fine sitting out weather, I'm going to get my toppers on, the safety goggles out, and the Kärcher, and rid the patio of the scary poop. Catch yous later.